smell what the Rock is cooking. The Rock says, the Rock says, the Rock says, the Rock.
I hear voices in my head, they counsel me, they understand, they talk to me. You got your rules in your religion, all designed to keep you safe. But when rules start getting broken, you start questioning your faith. I have a voice that is my savior, hates to love and loves to hate. I have a voice that has the knowledge and the power to your fate.
Hello and welcome to the WWE/NXT Wrestling Talk Show with Reese Rock Jones and
Sean Randy Smith, and we will bring you the pre-show for NXT Takeover in your house.
kind of appropriately named considering the current circumstances, but this is more of a tribute to the 25th anniversary of the In Your House name given to pay-per-views. This will be the first In Your House to take place since 1997, the last one officially being In Your House Canadian Stampede in July 1997, although the In Your House name was attached to St. Valentine's Day Massacre in February 1999.
And this will take place from the Full Sail University, the first to hold an NXT Takeover event since 2016's NXT Takeover The End.
Yes, because most NXT takeovers these days are attached to the main WWE pay-per-views and take place in the same general vicinity. However, that is now impossible
Due to the current situation.
So we have 6 matches to go through.
Yep, we do.
And we shall start with a very interesting match.
Yes.
With Tommaso Ciampa going up against a former Impact superstar.
Karrion Kross with Scarlett Bordeaux.
aka Killian Cross. Now this all started when Ciampa had his final match with Johnny Gargano on the April 8th episode of NXT, and we saw Cross and Scarlett watching in a car.
Yeah.
Then on the April 15th episode of NXT, Tommaso Ciampa was attacked by Karrion Kross, which would ultimately lead to this match.
Now, who do we see coming out and winning this match?
Well, for me, you're not going to have someone like Karrion Kross lose their first takeover match. Personally.
No.
Although with this company, who knows what they're gonna do.
Yeah, very, very true that.
Now, our next match has a bit more juice on it,
Oh, it does.
and it dates all the way back to the Royal Rumble.
As the match in question is as Charlotte Flair defends her NXT Women's Championship against Rhea Ripley and Io Shirai.
Yes, now let's rewind 5 months. So at the Royal Rumble, Charlotte would win the Women's Royal Rumble match. And before she would announce who she was challenging at WrestleMania, the then NXT Women's Champion, Rhea Ripley, would come out and basically challenge Charlotte.
Straight up for the belt.
Which, after a few weeks of going back and forth, was eventually accepted and made official for WrestleMania, when it was still planning to be held in Tampa, but the match went ahead anyway.
Yep,
So, at WrestleMania, Charlotte would defeat Rhea Ripley to become the second woman to hold the NXT Women's Championship twice.
Yep.
Then, on the April 8th episode of NXT, Io Shirai won a ladder match to become the number 1 contenders for the championship.
Yep.
This match took place on May 6th, in which Io Shirai won by disqualification after Charlotte decided to introduce a candlestick.
Because she couldn't get the job done.
And as Charlotte was about to tie Io Shirai's feet in a figure 4 on the post, Rhea Ripley, who had not been seen since WrestleMania, came out to drive Charlotte away.
But only to anger Io Shirai backstage.
Yes, there was a bit of pushing and shoving, which would ultimately lead to a slight brawl between the two.
And we do mean slight.
They would ultimately have a match on the May 20th episode of NXT, which ended in a no contest when Charlotte got involved.
Again.
Which would ultimately lead to this triple threat match for the NXT Women's Championship. Now, people may think that Charlotte does not deserve it. Kinda, she does. She's not a talentless little bimbo that they're pushing. I think the plan was to have Charlotte in NXT for a couple of weeks, or months I should say, and then eventually drop the title back to Ripley or someone else.
But now given the current situation,
and given the situation which has appeared on Raw with Becky Lynch having to disappear for up to a year, maybe a bit less, now that she has become pregnant, in WWE's and Vince McMahon's crazy mind, they are probably going to have Charlotte lose the title here and then permanently switch back to Raw. The question is whether they have Ripley win it or Shirai win it, and whether they made this a triple threat match so that one person could win the championship and they could still protect Charlotte, because remember, the rules of a triple threat match, the champion does not have to be involved in the decision to lose the championship.
That is absolutely right.
Our next match is a little bit of an interesting one.
As Finn Balor takes on Damian Priest.
Finn Balor had started something with Walter over on NXT UK regarding the United Kingdom Championship. However, due to current travel restrictions, that issue seems to have been put on hold.
It seems to have been indeed.
And Balor was attacked by Damian Priest, who, after failing to defeat Keith Lee for the North American Championship, seems to be trying to find his place.
Seems to be going that way.
This could go in either direction, really. There's no obvious winner in this match.
No.
Although I kind of think that Balor, considering that he's more of a veteran of NXT these days, so he might be there to help the younger talent get over.
True. Very, very true. But now we're going to move on to another match that also has a bit of meat to it.
Yes. This issue we can kind of date back almost a year.
Pretty much a year.
The Velveteen Dream had an issue with the Undisputed Era when Roderick Strong challenged for the North American Championship.
Yep.
That would ultimately go the way of Roderick Strong. But then during the months that passed, the Velveteen Dream would continue to target Strong even after Strong had lost the championship.
But then as the weeks and months progressed, it seems that the Velveteen Dream's focus switched to the NXT Championship.
Yes, the Dream was using Strong to get to Adam Cole. And a few weeks ago on an episode of NXT, the two superstars did meet for the NXT Championship. Adam Cole was lucky enough to escape that encounter with the NXT Championship. However, now the two superstars will collide again for the NXT Championship. However, this has a little bit of interesting twist to it, because this will be a last chance backlot brawl match for the NXT Championship.
And if the Velveteen Dream loses the match, he can no longer challenge for the NXT Championship while Adam Cole is still champion.
And not just that, sometimes we have this match where it's if they lose they can no longer challenge for the championship, but this is no longer challenge for the championship as long as Cole is champion.
Yes.
Some names have been tossed around as to who may be called up to the main roster.
We've heard all sorts of different names.
Dream's name has been in that discussion, but also how the Undisputed Era has.
But only time will tell when we find out the result of this last chance backlot brawl for the NXT title.
And most times in my experience, when they have that kind of stipulation, it's always the challenger who comes out victorious. I mean, the most recent time they did something like this was when the Street Profits won the Raw Tag Team Championships.
Of course. And now, we're going to go on to a match for the NXT North American Championship.
Yes, as we mentioned earlier, Johnny Gargano had his match with Ciampa at the beginning of April.
Yep.
That also saw Gargano, with a bit of help from his wife, go heel.
By low-blowing Tommaso Ciampa right in the ding-dongs.
So then we have, over the past month or so, we have seen almost, Dinner with the Garganos?
Some kind of soap opera like that.
And we have also had an issue between Mia Yim and Candice LeRae developing. The two were having a match when Johnny Gargano decided to get involved.
Prompting a sudden, swift appearance by the NXT North American Champion coming out to aid his girlfriend, his real-life girlfriend.
Yes, and then this would now cause a NXT North American Championship match to be made official for In Your House when Keith Lee will defend against Johnny Gargano.
Yep, and now we're on to a match that was literally made last night.
Yes, and quickly before we get on to that, if Gargano wins this match, he will be the first person to have held the NXT North American Championship twice.
Correct, absolutely right. But then, as I was saying earlier, we're going to go on to our final match, which was literally made last night.
Yes, speaking of Mia Yim and Candice LeRae, they have their own issues with each other to deal with, and they will do that in a 6-woman tag team match.
As the teams of Mia Yim teaming up with Shotzi Blackheart and Wales' own Tegan Knox take on a team of Candice LeRae, Dakota Kai, and Dakota Kai's bodyguard, Raquel Gonzalez.
Yes, these people have been at odds with each other pretty much. This kind of dates back to War Games, especially with Tegan Knox and Dakota Kai.
With the implosion of Team Kick.
When they were supposed to be involved with Rhea Ripley's team against Shayna Baszler.
And as we already mentioned, Mia Yim has her own problems with the Poison Pixie Candice LeRae.
And Dakota Kai doesn't go anywhere without her bodyguard,
Raquel Gonzalez.
Now, who do we think will win this?
In my honest experience, Reese The Rock Jones, I have no idea.
Let's take a look at what we've said before. Killian Cross over Ciampa, that's a heel winning.
Yep.
Ripley will survive, that's face.
Yep. Damian Priest, who's the heel, and Finn Balor is the face.
I think we said Priest is the more likely one there, so that's a heel.
Adam Cole, Velveteen Dream.
I would like to see Dream there, so that's a face.
Okay.
Lee and Gargano could go either way, although I'm possibly thinking that with his new attitude, Gargano is probably the odds-on favourite there. And overall, I would say the stronger team for this one is probably Candice, Dakota, and
Raquel Gonzalez.
Yeah.
So let's run through the match card again.
Yes. Tommaso Ciampa will go one-on-one with Killian Cross.
Charlotte Flair will defend her NXT Women's Championship against Rhea Ripley and Io Shirai.
Finn Balor goes one-on-one with Damian Priest.
Adam Cole will defend his NXT Championship against the Velveteen Dream in a last chance backlot brawl for the NXT title, and if the Velveteen Dream loses, he can no longer challenge for the NXT Championship while Adam Cole is still champion.
Keith Lee looks to the NXT Universe to continue to bask in his glory when he defends the North American Championship against Johnny Gargano.
And the team of Mia Yim, Shotzi Blackheart, and Wales' own Tegan Knox will take on the team of Candice LeRae, the Poison Pixie, Dakota Kai, and her bodyguard, Raquel Gonzalez.
Takeover in Your House takes place this upcoming Sunday from Full Sail University.
In Winter Park, Florida.
And next week we will be at you with our reactions to this card,
Plus,
as well as the pre-show to Backlash.
so until then, he's been
Lisa Rock Jones, and he's been
Sean Randy Smith. We'll see you next week.